Why, hello. It's Velvette, and I am here today to tell you my own personal, not a ghost story, but possibly a demon story. Because seriously, I don't know what this was. I have my moon lamp and my flashlight and some Halloween lights off camera. Pretend you're at a sleepover with me. We'll pretend we're telling spooky stories at a sleepover together. Here's how mine starts. Way back in, I think it was the year I graduated high school, or maybe the year after that, so 2017 or 2018. Me and my family went on a trip to Aruba. We were staying in our usual suite because a timeshare was passed down from my grandfather to us. I had not been getting proper sleep. I am going to start it off with that because that's what I chalk it up to, but it's up to interpretation for sure. We were in our usual suite and I had only gotten maybe 4 hours of sleep the night before because we went to bed super late because we went out that night. The room service was being exceptionally loud in the hallways, and all we could hear is knock, 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 knock. Hello! Knock, 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 knock. Hello! I'm not kidding, it actually sounded like that. I don't know what I was hearing, but anyway, I didn't get much sleep that night, and I had to wake up pretty early. We were all gonna go down to the beach. We get down there, and because I'm tired, I realized, oh, great, well, I forgot my goggles, but okay, I'll go back up to the room to get them. So then, oh, my flashlight. So then, when I go back up to the room to get these goggles, they were right in sight. I walked right in and I grabbed them off the table, and the table is like right in front of like glass sliding doors where the sunlight comes in and shines into the room. I'm saying this for a reason. I turn around, and the way that the ceiling is that it's like, it's flat, like a regular ceiling, but then there's like this divot, so like it goes down a little bit, and there's an air vent. And this air vent is silver, it's shiny, the sun can, shine in it and blind you if it hits it the right way, how it goes with metal and the sun. But so I turn around, and I look up at this vent, and I see what looks like the essence of blackness. Like, the essence of blackness itself. Like, the way I put it is, I'm a goth, okay? I know my black. This looked like the essence of blackness itself. It was the blackest thing I had ever seen in my life. And it looked like, if you think of how ink looks when you drip it into water, it was like this, it was thick and black, like you couldn't see through it, but like around the edges of it, it looked like that, like it looked like ink in water. And it had these two bright yellow glowing eyes, and it was just this little ball of blackness, and it was staring directly at me. My response, two things like that, which are absolutely out of this world terrifying, is to freeze. I froze in my tracks, and I stared at this thing, and I didn't want to move, but at the same time I wanted to book it. And all I could think of is, I felt like I was staring a demon in the face. I was terrified out of my mind. All I remember is I literally just started reciting either the Our Father or the Hail Mary, and I ran out of that room crying and would not go back into that room by myself the rest of the trip. It was the scariest thing I'd ever seen. I broke into, as I mentioned in my other video, I did this, but not in a fun way. I broke into a cold sweat. I was terrified out of my mind. And when we went back into the room later that day, I investigated because I was like, there's no way I saw that right. Like, I had to have seen something else or something weird or some reflective thing. I debunk everything. I love the supernatural, but I try to debunk everything. So that's what I was trying to do. I was testing it with the sunlight. I was seeing, I was trying to look in the vent to see if there was anything dark in there, to see if anything would cause that. Nope. Absolutely nothing. And I thought, okay, maybe the eyes, maybe that was like the sun somehow. No, absolutely it was not. If you want to chalk it up to somehow an instance of sleep paralysis during the day while I'm still moving, so therefore it's not sleep paralysis. If you want to chalk it up to that I didn't get enough sleep that night, I don't know. That's what I tend to chalk it up to, is that I barely got any sleep. So I'm always like, okay, it was from sleep deprivation. But here's the thing. I live in an area where there are these historical buildings where many violent, gruesome deaths occurred inside these buildings. And these buildings are said to be haunted, which I did not know until after this incident that I'll tell you about. One night, I believe the same year, or maybe 1 year after, I was driving home. At the time, I worked at one of the malls in my state. I was working at a clothing store. I was driving home. I had a very late shift. I got out around 11 something, and I was in this area with these haunted buildings around midnight exact. As I come to a stoplight that is directly in front of these buildings, I noticed, first of all, it is midnight. Second of all, I noticed the strangest thing I've ever seen. The entire, either the top floor or the second to top floor, and I can't remember which, the entire row of windows, because the whole building is like, it's just like window after window, like across the whole thing for like every single floor. The whole floor of windows was completely lit, while every other building, every other floor was completely and utterly dark and shut down. So I'm looking at it thinking, oh, that's strange. Why is that going on? Like I've never seen that before, because I had a lot of night shifts. I always work night shifts. That's my thing. So I'm used to driving around at night, and I'm used to everything just being shut down. And I have passed that building a million times at this point, and it's always just dark at night. So oddly, this whole floor was lit up, and I'm staring at it at the stoplight. And all of a sudden, again, what seemed to be almost like the essence of blackness itself, a whole body, a whole apparition, so a full body of a person, but of blackness itself, all of a sudden appears, like comes up from, like if this was the window, like came up from here into view in the window and flew up, like to the upper corner, like up and out of sight, almost as if they were being hung. I had never seen anything like that in my entire life, and I was at a stoplight. I couldn't drive away. I again broke into a cold sweat. My mouth was wide open. I'm staring at this now just lit window that has nothing in it now. And I start screaming, and the light finally turns. I'm like screaming at the light to turn. I'm by myself, by the way. No other traffic is around here, which was also odd because I was driving through a city. So it was very odd, even at midnight. And so that light hit green and I floored the gas. I got away from there. I was, again, so shaken up. I was crying. I felt like I was being stalked at that point by whatever this entity was, because I could sense that it was of the same essence. And I felt like, why am I seeing this everywhere? Everywhere as in twice. Both times of which I was tired. So, because again, like it was a late shift. It was midnight. I was very tired that night. Like I was very tired. So both instances, I was sleep deprived. So could that be it? Or could it have been something much more sinister? After this point, I started doing research, and I started finding things about these entities that people don't seem to understand yet, called shadow people. These are said to be demonic beings, like purely demonic, like weren't humans in life, like demons. And it is said that there are different color eyes that they can have, but that if you see the one with yellow eyes specifically, that is an inordinately malevolent one. There are also theories that you see these as warnings or as different, like there's different meanings for seeing them. They are malevolent beings. And if it was not sleep deprivation, then I saw 2 of them. And those were the most terrifying supernatural experiences I have ever had, hands down. I've had some other strange occurrences, weird things go on that are pretty terrifying. There's one that happened in this very room that I'm in, I believe also twice, if not 3 times. I think it was twice. So I'll tell that story separately, so be on the lookout for that. Let me explain one more thing. The figure going up. This particular building had specific machines in it that would often scalp employees if their hair got caught in these machines. So think about that for a second. To maybe pull them up by their hair. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Crazy stuff. Can't explain it. Tried. Can't. Shadow people. Terrifying. I hope I never again have an experience like that, because as much as I love the supernatural, let's keep it away from me. We'll keep it at a safe distance. If I went to a haunted hotel and was looking for that kind of stuff and had a supernatural experience that wasn't harmful to me or anyone else I'm with, great. Let's keep it at that, and in the movies and in my stories. I never want to experience a shadow person ever again, whether it be sleep deprivation or not. Hope you enjoyed this spooky Halloween story at our little sleepover, and I will see you for the next spooky story about experiences that I cannot explain in my own bedroom next time. Have a spooky evening.